Sonic Rush was a turning point in the franchise since it introduced a boost mechanic that many games afterwards would adopt. But while those games would eventually receive backlash over people hating the boost formula, does the game that it all started from actually use it well? Well, I've never played Sonic Rush, not fully, so today is my first time. So I hope you like it, and without any further ado, let's dive straight in. The biggest new addition to this game is, yes, the boost. Boosting is an interesting idea for Sonic. Sonic 1 had nothing to give you momentum, then Sonic 2 added a new way to gain speed super quickly, but you had to stop and charge it. The boost allows you to essentially spin dash while running, gaining tons of speed without having to stop. Because of this, the levels are full of speed, and they even brought the real running from the adventure games. You'll be going fast a lot. However, to gain boost, you'll have to do multiple different things. If you're ever sitting in the air, you can press pretty much any button to do a trick, getting you more boost. You can also get some by killing enemies or getting checkpoints, but the tricks are the best way since you can get a ton and just do it repeatedly. The boost isn't always good though. There are plenty of bottomless pits in the game, and the boost can make it super easy to fall in. Also, your max speed without the boost feels super slow in comparison, which is kind of unavoidable but still super annoying when you don't have any boost. Also, you run while boosting, not roll, meaning if you run out of boost and continue to run, you could just run right into an enemy and take damage. The levels themselves are also a mixed bag. Some levels are fast-paced and fun, but plenty of them are just annoying. For instance, Zone 4 Act 2 has a section where you have to, well, slide upward, I guess. You see the left and right bumpers do a slide, but if you launch yourself into the air, then they'll do a dash in whatever direction you're pressing. This means you can dash upward and get to the top of this wall, which I didn't know since I had no idea this existed. This led me to keep trying different ways and eventually lose all my lives and start the level over. Eventually, I just looked it up and kept going because it's just stupid. Zone 7 Act 2 has nearly the exact same thing where you need to slide into a wall to break it, but like, I didn't know the slides broke walls, so I didn't really know what to do, and eventually I died and started over again before realizing that I just needed to slide, because of course I do. I had to replay these zones multiple times to get back through. Yeah, I love doing the exact same thing over and over again. In fact, a lot of these levels had me start over since there's just a ton of bottomless pits. If only they had gotten rid of the live system. The game also has these enemy rooms requiring you to defeat enemies before you leave. Oh no, I'm having flashbacks. These don't add anything to the game, so I have no idea why they're here, but they're not too bad, they're just here. One idea I actually did enjoy was these bonus stages. While running around the levels, you may find a weird spinning thing. If you boost on it, you'll open up a portal to a bonus stage. These are based off of Sonic 2's bonus stages, and they're really fun. Since the game is on DS, you have the stylus to move, which is much easier. They also added a lot to these stages to make them even more fun and unique than Sonic 2. There's enemies you can attack, along with springs to quick time events. These are a lot of fun, and the later ones do get quite a bit challenging, but nowhere near as annoying or unforgiving as Sonic 2. Of course, beating them does give you a Chaos Emerald, but unlike Sonic 2, you cannot get multiple in a single stage. Each zone has its own Chaos Emerald, meaning if you miss one, you'll have to go back to a previous stage. This didn't feel annoying though, since I actually wanted to go back to get the Emerald, and I hadn't played these stages in a while. The bosses are another story though. I did not want to play them. Nearly all of them were tedious, and many were just annoying. The first one is fine until it uses this rolling attack, where if it hits you just right, you'll bounce away and likely off the platform, dying immediately. This is just annoying. Every boss has one hit point, and all you do is wait and dodge until you're able to hit it, and then you do it over and over again a time. They are all boring. Of course, behind it all is Eggman, but not regular Eggman. Instead, there's negative Eggman. He's from another dimension, along with another new character also from the other dimension, Blaze. Blaze the cat has the ability to essentially firebend, which sounds really cool, but we'll get back to her later. Regular Eggman and Negative Eggman switch places to attack the different heroes, meaning Sonic fights Negative Eggman and Blaze fights regular Eggman. However, Blaze ends up wanting to save the day by herself for some reason, and you just fight. Why? It's an annoying fight, since the window you can hit her gets smaller and smaller, but is doable. It also ends with Sonic and Blaze boosting towards each other, and you have to spam the two buttons to run. But instead of maybe slowly pushing Blaze off the platform or something, instead you just keep pressing it until the game decides you're done and Blaze gets thrown away for some reason. But no time to think, since now Negative Eggman has a giant mech and Sonic needs to take it down, and it sucks. Oh my god, I spent hours on this fight, and I hate it. There's not that many rings, and they fly so high that it's hard to get them back if you get hit. His attacks are also super annoying, like if he slams both fists down, it's an insta-kill for some reason. There's also this super slow laser tag that you need to slowly follow to not die. It sucks, and it's way too frustrating and way too slow. Even if you did fix some of these problems, it would just still be a super slow boss. It's just not great. But after you beat it, the game is over. right? Well, not exactly. There's also a second campaign where you play as Blaze. That's a cool idea, splitting your levels across 2 campaigns to make it more interesting. It's what Adventure 2 did, and it was pretty cool there. So what kind of levels do we get to play now? It's the same levels. Okay, well, she does have those fire attacks, so maybe she has more moves, but in the same stages like the classic games. So I wonder, how does she control? Yeah, we have the same levels, but now you play them in a different order, and the exact same moveset, but now you're a cat. Now you just have to beat the game again. Yeah, I love doing the exact same thing over and over again. Okay, well, she does have one difference. Remember that air dash Sonic had that I didn't know about and barely used? Yeah, she has a hover, which I also barely used. That's it. Her campaign is slightly different though, since she fights regular Eggman instead of his negative counterpart. She also fights Sonic at the end instead of herself, obviously. But also, instead of getting the Soul Emeralds, that's what the Chaos Emeralds are called in this dimension, in the bonus stages, she gets them for defeating the bosses, which is far less interesting. Why did they get rid of them? I love them. But once you beat both campaigns, I have expected nothing to happen, but instead you get a final campaign. Here, both Sonic and Blaze go super, where Blaze turns into this red color, which looks really cool. Now you have one last fight. But did they seriously just copy Sonic 3? Okay, no, it's not the same, but it sure does start off the same. To fight the boss, Sonic needs to deflect his attacks back at it before it retreats, flipping upside down, which I can only assume is just referring to it changing dimensions, I guess. Upside down, you have Blaze, which you can't deflect attacks, but I kept trying, but it wouldn't work. Well, until I just spammed every button and realized I can throw fireballs now, because why not? Now with that learned, it's actually a pretty fun fight where you deflect attacks and then shoot fireballs. It is fun, but also a bit easy, which is fine. But after all that, the game ends and we all go home. And I'm a bit disappointed. The game showed promise, but it just needed more work. There was a lot of good fun elements and a lot of boring, not fun elements. If only the game had a sequel to improve on it. Oh wait, it did. Sonic Rush Adventure tried to learn from its predecessor and fixed a lot of the problems it had. Like instead of playing every level as both Blaze and Sonic, now you just choose the character you want before each level. They also added a tutorial, which shows the slide, which is very useful. And now the stages have been made far less annoying and you're not likely to fall in a pit nearly as often. However, they might have overcorrected. The stages are now mostly about just going in the direction you need while sometimes boosting. You do occasionally need to think and maybe do something, but there's just far more running here, which kind of feels mindless. They do have these small levels with just platforming, but they go too far in the other direction and have very little to no speed, and it's just platforming. So not perfect, but it's a lot better than the first game. And thankfully, the bosses are far, far better. They're given a lot more health now, but instead of having a single weak spot, you can hit them whenever and wherever you want. This is a far more fun type of boss, and the game makes good use of them. They're all really fun, and a lot of them even use the DS's dual screens in clever ways. Some don't, like this octopus boss that just switches between them, which is fine, but there's also this green thing where you run on the bottom screen before jumping up, dealing damage, and falling back down. That one is really cool. They really did overhaul the entire boss system. In fact, they overhauled a lot, like the entire overworld has been changed. Instead of just selecting a level, now there's an entire ocean you need to explore. You start off basically in the middle, but you need to draw a line for your jet ski to travel, then to play a jet ski minigame to actually travel there. As you play, you get more and more things to ride, each one with its own minigame. There's a boat where you shoot off the side of it with 3 different weapons, a hoverboat that's kind of like a jet ski but it shoots, and finally a submarine that goes underwater and you have to lock onto things and blast missiles at them. The idea of this is really cool, and I did enjoy it a lot. Tails usually does give you a marker where you need to go, but you can't just ride off into nothing looking for places to go. That's why I found those smaller levels. Also, for some reason, this game also adds materials. To make new boats, you need to give Tails the correct materials. You get materials by beating stages, and different stages give you different materials. This means if you don't have enough, you'll need to replay old levels, which can be annoying. Though I don't think you need to for the necessary items, but you do for the other vehicles, which I got because I thought I needed them. But I don't think I did. Speaking of riding on the ocean, while doing so, you might find another guy on a jet ski named Johnny. You need to race him to get the emeralds. The later ones actually get really hard, and you actually need to make a strategy to beat them. Or I guess you would, but there's actually just an upgrade you can get. I think upgrading your jet ski is a stupid addition. I spent hours trying to get all the emeralds just to find out later that I could have just waited and got an upgrade, and that just makes all of it way too easy. Yeah, it's annoying. However, just like the first game, you have 2 sets of emeralds to collect. The first game just had to replay all the bosses as Blaze. So what new ingenious idea did they have for this game? You just replay the bosses as Blaze. Why? You just have to talk to some random NPC who unlocks some certain challenge levels, and if you beat them, you receive a soul emerald. Yes, some of the challenges aren't even bosses, but they're just other levels that Sonic's already played. Why on earth do these games want me to repeat content? I don't care what I said in the past, I don't like it. Thankfully, we don't have to play the entire game again though, just a few challenges. It's not great, but it is better. It's just a weird way of the game trying to extend its length. Here's a hint, Sega. Don't. People don't want to repeat content in order to play a game for longer. However, once you've done all that, you can finally move on and fight the final boss. He's okay. You have to destroy the shield of one of the cannons either by waiting till it's gone or getting the boss to break it themselves. Then you have to take control of the cannon so that you can fire yourself at the boss and attack it. It's a decent idea for a boss, and it's kind of fun. It's also pretty easy, and I only died once due to the stupid insta-kill at the end. Like, the boss shoots these lasers and slowly drops, and then you attack it, but I didn't know it was going to drop, so I just jumped in the laser to see what would happen. And I died. Didn't even drop rings. I'm just dead. Other than that, though, yeah, it's pretty easy. I also don't think it's as epic as the first game since you don't climb up the boss. It is better, though, since it's far less annoying. Of course, if you get all the emeralds, you do get another final boss in super form. This time, it's top-down, which is a nice change of the formula. It does start where you dodge rocks and collect coins, just like Sonic 3, and I don't know why every super fight has to start this way. But after that, you actually get the boss, and it's a lot of fun. Here, you freely switch between Sonic and Blaze and use both their attacks whenever you want. Also, Sonic's Reflect attack is a new move, and it's not tied to his dash, which makes a lot more sense and leads to far less confusion. The main fight of shooting his Blaze, then to switch to Sonic to deflect any attacks is really fun and hard to get good at. It's honestly one of my favorite fights in the series. After it goes down though, we have some dialogue that I didn't read, and the end. This was actually pretty fun. Both the Rush games are worth your time, though they both, especially the first one, do waste a bit of it. Rush Adventures is definitely the better of the two, since it has far less annoyances along with an interesting world map. This series does have room to grow though, and we will be returning back to it later, but for now, that's all I have to say. So thank you all for watching, and goodbye. I'm actually like getting back into video making. I don't know why I say that. Like, I always feel like I'll work for a week and I'll take the weekend off and I'll get back. I'm like, oh, I gotta get back into it. But like, I don't take the big breaks. I'm never like not working on videos, not really. So I don't know why I'm always like, I gotta get back into it because I'm always into it. But I'm actually like starting a schedule. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finish this video from here to there. Start working on this and end it there, and so on and so forth. And I'm getting ahead of schedule. I'm really proud of it. Hopefully nothing comes in life and like ruins it. Though I think something is gonna happen because something always happens. But for now, I'm doing good.